Hey, welcome. So today we're going to talk about something fascinating, the invisible crimes of everyday life. We're diving into that weird, blurry line between what feels totally normal and what is technically against the law. So let me just ask you this straight up. Are you a criminal? Now, I'm guessing your immediate answer is something like, of course not, right? You pay your taxes, you stop at red lights, you're a good, law-abiding citizen. But what if I told you that you probably, maybe even definitely, broke a law today, and maybe even a few of them? Not in some big, dramatic way, but through these small, seemingly harmless things we all do as part of our normal digital lives. That's the idea we're going to unpack. Okay, our first example, I'm calling this one the Wi-Fi heist. And it's a situation I'm pretty sure many of us have found ourselves in at some point. So picture this, your internet at home suddenly cuts out. You've got an urgent email to send, a deadline is looming, you glance at your available networks, and there it is, your neighbor's Wi-Fi, wide open, no password needed. So what do? Come on, be honest. You connect, right? Just for a couple of minutes. It's harmless. Well, here's the thing. Legally speaking, that super simple act falls under the definition of unauthorized access. Yep, that's the official term for using someone's computer network without getting their permission. Suddenly, that quick borrow sounds a whole lot more serious, doesn't it? And this is the perfect example of the disconnect we're talking about. To you and me, it's like borrowing a cup of sugar. But in the eyes of the law, jumping on a private network without consent is in the same technical category as hacking. It's kind of wild when you think about it like that. All right, let's move on to our next example and see how this pattern pops up in a totally different part of our online lives. Welcome to the copyright trap. We've all been here. You're working on a presentation, maybe making a post for social media. It's fine, but it needs that visual punch, you know? It needs that one perfect image to really grab people's attention. So what's the move? You probably do a quick Google search and just save the first cool image you find. Or you see a hilarious meme and you just have to repost it. Or maybe you grab that song that's all over TikTok for your latest video. I mean, this is just how the internet works, right? But here's the trap. Each and every one of those things is technically a form of copyright theft. The law is actually really clear on this. If you use someone else's original creative work, an image, a song, even text, without their explicit permission, you're violating their rights. And that brings us to our final, and let's be real, probably the most widespread invisible crime of them all. I like to call it password sharing piracy. It's been a long day. You get home, you flop on the couch, and you just want to zone out and watch the latest hit show. Only problem? You're not subscribed. But hey, your best friend is, or your brother, or your parents, and you've got the password. It's basically a modern-day ritual. And here, the gap in perception is just massive. From our point of view, it's just harmless sharing with people we love and trust. It feels completely normal. Everybody does it. But from the company's point of view, it's a crystal clear violation of their terms of service. And legally, it can be considered that same term we heard before, unauthorized access. So here's the bottom line. It seems absolutely unthinkable, but sharing a password under some interpretations of the law could be seen as more than just breaking a company's rules. It could be viewed as a crime. Now, are the feds going to kick down your door for using your mom's Netflix account? Probably not. But the point is, the legal framework is there. Which brings us to the big question, right? After all of this, what are we supposed to do? What does this all mean for us, the accidental, everyday lawbreakers? Let's just quickly recap the day we've talked about. You might have started your morning with some unauthorized access on your neighbor's Wi-Fi. In the afternoon, maybe you committed a little copyright infringement, grabbing an image. And then you probably ended your evening by violating terms of service on a streaming account. It's a daily crime spree you never even knew you were on. So what's the real takeaway here? The issue isn't that millions of us have just collectively decided to become criminals. The real issue is that our technology and just how we live our lives, it's all evolved at lightning speed while the law is still struggling to catch up. What feels normal to us is being seen through a really old, kind of outdated legal lens. And that really just leaves us with one final big thought. When a huge chunk of the population is technically breaking the law just by doing normal everyday things, does that mean we all need to change our behavior? Or does it mean it's time for the laws themselves to change? That's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this one.